do for a Shamrock Shake? Well, this dude went to great lengths. He was sitting in English class one day. His English class was on the first floor of the building. As he was sitting there, he realized, today's the last day of the year for Shamrock Shakes. He had to do something. He didn't want to wait till after school because they could be all gone by then, or they could stop selling them early. But he had to get his hands on one last Shamrock Shake, so he waited until his teacher's back was towards them, then quietly opened the classroom window and jumped out. He ran to where his bike was locked up, and he biked all the way to McDonald's. He got there, he went in, he ordered 1 Shamrock Shake, please. And they gave it to him. Fresh, green Shamrock Shake. He biked back to school with the Shamrock Shake, locked his bike up, climbed back through the window, and sat down in his desk. Well, obviously the teacher saw him climb back in with the shake, and he was given a detention. But he said it was absolutely worth it. Black markets kids ran in their schools. This one is absolutely insane. So this kid in middle school ran a revenge business. He wouldn't hurt anybody at all. That wasn't part of his business. But anything aside from that had a price. He carried a notebook around with suggestions of things he could do for revenge. If somebody wanted to get revenge on a classmate or something, they would come, look at his notebook, see what they can afford, and then hire him to perform that revenge plot. If somebody wanted to get the ultimate revenge, they would pay him for the ultimate package. This is what it is. This kid would get a garbage can, fill it with milk, eggs, meat, and roadkill that he would find on the side of the road. He would then put the lid on it and keep it out in his backyard in the heat until it started to rot. Then he would bring this garbage can to the person that he was hired to get revenge on. He would take the lid off, lean the garbage can against the door, knock on the door, and run away. Now, when someone in the house opened the door to answer it, that garbage can would fall in and spill everything everywhere, causing a rotten, disgusting, smelly mess. He told me he was never caught, he never got in trouble, and he made over $700. Okay, so what's going on with school lunches these days? A high schooler took pictures of their school lunches and put it on Reddit, and most of them look absolutely disgusting. Like one day, all they served was a plate of nachos. Here's a nasty looking chicken patty with like 4 fries. The thing still looks frozen. Is this cheese curds and chips? Who's in charge of the lunch? Oh, here's another chicken patty with some different fries, and this one looks even worse. All right, the next one's a hot dog, and this is absolutely abysmal. What in God's name is that? This one's I couldn't even tell you. This one day, they got a Hot Pocket and broccoli. That's the laziest meal I've ever seen. And this last one looks like a beef sandwich and fries. This one actually doesn't look too bad, but still, it's kind of sus. Is this a problem everywhere? Like, are your lunches good? Or what's going on? Tell me. This kid's an absolute genius. So one of my followers is running a business in his school right now, and he's been running it for about 1.5 years. So this dude told me he carries around a giant backpack and he sells stuff out of it. And there's actually a teacher at his school who helps him sell the big stuff. This guy sent me some pictures of his product. You see here, he's got like soda, candy, there's Prime, there's Oreos. This guy goes all out. Look at this stuff. And for the best part, he sent me pictures of the profit he's made. Look at this wad of cash, just bank rolling in every single day. I mean, come on, obviously business is absolutely booming. He told me in total, so far, he's made over $3,000 and he has no plans to stop. Gotta respect the hustle. Would you run a business at your school? Hey, this would freak me out. So a family was camping in Australia, and they were sitting around the fire eating some food, when suddenly their campsite was invaded by robber crabs, or otherwise known as coconut crabs. This whole situation is super creepy, but what's even weirder is how they don't seem to care at all. This dude's eating, this dude's just scrolling on his phone. This girl seems to be enjoying herself. Australians are built different, I'll tell you that. An old man was lying in his bed, dying, when he smelled his favorite cookies being made. He rolled out of bed, crawled into the kitchen, and saw the cookies sitting on a tray on the table. And with all of his strength, he reached to grab a cookie. That's when his wife smacked his hand and said, "What are you doing? Those are for the funeral. Get back in your bed." I hate going to the dentist, and if I was this person, I would throw up from embarrassment. Alright, so the person that shared the story, she said it was the first time seeing her new dentist. He was working on her teeth, and he says something like, "You're doing great. I know it's always weird having a stranger work on your teeth for the first time, but you're doing great." To which she responds, "Oh, you're not a stranger. You've been inside my mouth for 20 minutes now." His face got so red and he was immediately embarrassed, and she was mortified. What did she say? Why did she say that? She did not intend to make a raunchy joke like that. Well, her dentist remained professional. He finished the appointment and she left. A couple months passed and now it was time for her second appointment with this dentist. She told herself that she was going to be on her best behavior. She wasn't even going to say a word to him. She's in the dentist chair, he's working on her teeth, and all of a sudden he gets very uncomfortable and red in the face. And she's like, "What did I do? I didn't even say anything." Well, it turns out her dentist was wearing flavored gloves, and she had been absent-mindedly licking his fingers the entire time, and she didn't even know it. After that, she never went to that dentist ever again. Dumb reasons, people broke up. So this person was an EMT, and she was on a second date with somebody. They went to the movies, and they were seeing Twilight, New Moon. Well, about halfway through the movie, she noticed a man 3 rows ahead of her having a seizure. Oh my god, what? That guy's having a seizure? Oh, he's fine, just watch the movie. But she knew that he obviously wasn't fine, so she made the theater stop the movie. Stop the film! Stop the film! She then went up to the guy and helped him out until the ambulance showed up. After the guy was taken to the hospital, she noticed her date had left, but he sent her a text. He said he couldn't believe she made the theater stop the movie for some guy, and that she should have never done that, and that he never wanted to see her ever again. That's nuts. This is the weirdest school business I've ever heard of. My follower sent me the story. When she was in 3rd grade, she would bring her pet turtle to school a couple times a week, and she would charge kids $5 a minute to hold the turtle. And people actually paid. I guess they really liked turtles.
I like turtles. All right.
Business was booming, so one day she upped the price to $10 a minute, and kids were still paying to hold her turtle. But she was starting to get money hungry, so she tried to up the charges to $15 a minute to hold her turtle. Well, one kid had enough of her raising the price, so he told the teacher, and the business was shut down. She made $700 in total. This person is the worst. So this guy was on a first date with this woman that he just met. They were having dinner and it was a good time. She then started talking about a time when she was in high school. Her favorite car was a Jaguar, and she really wanted one. But her dad bought her a Prius instead. She wasn't very happy, so she crashed that Prius on purpose. Now that the Prius was crashed, she thought her dad was gonna get her the Jaguar. But no, he bought her another Prius. Once again, she was very upset, so she crashed the Prius again. Her dad must have learned his lesson, because then he bought her a Jaguar. Talk about spoiled. At one high school, there was a science teacher who was a bit older. He was a pretty nice guy, but he sweat all the time. Is it hot in here or is it just me? I'm sweating up a storm. Well, he would do this super weird, gross thing every single day. He had this plant on his desk, and towards the end of class, every single day, he would take off his shirt in front of everybody and wring out his sweaty shirt into the plant. "Sir, what are you doing?" "Plants need water, Kyle. What do you think I'm doing?" He was eventually fired because taking your shirt off in class is frowned upon. Makes sense. Times nice people snapped. This person said that when he was in middle school, there was a kid in his class named Bob. Bob was nice. He was kind of interesting. He was scrawny. He looked very small. And the gym teacher was a very, very mean man. And every day in gym class, he would make fun of Bob, ruthlessly. Well, one day, the gym teacher said something bad about Bob's mom. Well, Bob's mom had some conditions that made her weak and unhealthy. Not by her choice, she was sick. That's when Bob snapped. Something came over him, and scrawny Bob lunged for the 6'5" gym teacher and started beating his ass. And in that moment, the gym teacher looked like he stood no chance. Bob was going crazy on him. They were eventually split up, and Bob was expelled. But the gym teacher was fired for being a jerk and for fighting a student. This kid is an absolute legend. When this kid was growing up, he had somehow grown a tail. Well, by the time he was in 6th grade, he had to get it surgically removed. The surgery was a success, but he had stitches where the tail had to be removed. He was given a doctor's note to bring to class to let his teachers know that he was supposed to sit on a soft cushion because stitches. Well, one of his teachers wasn't having it. "Hey, no, you can't sit on that unless you have a cushion for everyone in this class." "But sir, I have a doctor's note." "I don't care. These chairs are way too hard. I have stitches." "Listen, you rabbit's foot prick. You're gonna man up and sit down, okay?" So what he did was, on purpose, he sat down on that stiff chair as hard as he possibly could. So hard that his stitches tore, and he started bleeding all over the place. "Go to the principal's office right now." When he got there, he told the principal what happened, and the principal was on his side. However, the worst part about this was the teacher didn't get in trouble at all. Have you ever caught a stranger in your house? Well, here's the story. This girl said that her friend Jenna had just moved into a very nice condo, and she finally got to check out her friend's new place. When she arrived at her friend's new condo, her friend was still at work. So her friend told her, yeah, I'll be off soon, just let yourself in. There's a key under the plant out front." Oh, yep, there it is. All right, see you soon. So she let herself into her friend's condo and decided to make herself a sandwich. So she's eating her sandwich, walking around, checking out all the nice stuff her friend has, when all of a sudden the front door opened and a large man with a duffel bag walks in. Oh my God. She threw the sandwich at him and locked herself in the bedroom. She's in there scared. She's shaking. The man's banging on the door. Get out of the room right now. Get out. No, you get out. I'm gonna call the police. You're gonna call the police. I'm gonna call the police. That's when she thought something was off. Why would he call the police? Then looks around and realizes the bedroom definitely seems to be that of a man's bedroom. She then asks him through the door, "Do you know who Jenna is?" "Yeah, she's my next door neighbor." Turns out this guy also kept a spare key under the potted plant out front. What a crazy situation. Okay, this is hilarious. My follower sent me this story. She said that one day she was at her boyfriend's house when she had to go poop very bad. I have to go to the bathroom. Well, the bathroom is right next to her boyfriend's bedroom, so she figured she'd have to be quiet, otherwise he would know she was pooping. So she goes in there and sits down. What is that? She sees that the bathtub is full of water. So she asks her boyfriend, "Hey, so the bathtub's full of water. Is someone taking a bath or something? Or am I still good to go in there?" He responds, "Yeah, my sister's really pregnant and she's gonna give birth at home, and that bathtub is for the water birth." Oh, okay. Obviously that's kind of weird, but she goes to the bathroom anyway and she starts pooping. And mid-push, the door bursts open. Oh, it's coming! The baby's coming! Talk about embarrassing. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he ran a study guide business. And these weren't your run-of-the-mill study guides. These were well-detailed, easy-to-cover documents that covered every single major test and quiz for the whole school. He had a group of students working for him. They were called the contributors. They would help him write and construct these study guides. He sold these study guides for $10 to $20 depending on the test. He also hired some of the bigger kids in school to be the muscle. The muscle kept the blacklisted kids from playing any playground games like basketball or soccer. Kids could be blacklisted for a number of reasons, like borrowing a study guide and never paying back what's due, or for lending a study guide to any non-paying individual. This dude sent me screenshots of the documents he actually used. This is the terms and conditions that came with every single study guide. Pause if you want to read. This is the blacklist Excel sheet. He even had an employment contract for every single one of his employees. He was very efficient. He made about $100 a week, and $600 a week for the bigger tests. And all I can say is for middle school, this is one hell of a business. I'm constantly ruining my shoes. Look at these Hokas. These are brand new. So I wanted something that's gonna last. I ordered some Nordiv 8's military hiking boots. Yeah, for under $100, these things are insane, and they're definitely gonna last me. I'm so excited. The dumbest reasons people got in trouble at work. This guy was chilling at home when he got a call from a manager of a company. Hello? Oh, hello, Greg. The answers. Well, Greg, you didn't show up for work today, and honestly, I have had enough of your bull crap. You are a disgrace to the Comcast company. You're ignorant, you're selfish, you're incredibly selfish, you waste all of our time. Your mother would be so disappointed in you, Greg. You can be quiet. What do you have to say for yourself? The call went on for a while, but the thing was, my name isn't Greg, and I definitely don't work at Comcast. I actually just started at Dairy Queen last week, so... But good luck to Greg, huh? Sounds like he's in big trouble. Okay, bye. God darn it. Can somebody get me Greg's phone number? I don't think I have it, but why don't you just ask him what his number is? He's sitting at his desk. Wait, he's here today? Yeah, it's his birthday today. He brought everyone donuts. I had like 3. Shit.
Okay, so I have the Bulldog ramen, but this time it's 2 times spicy. So I thought this one was spicy, but this one looks crazy.
Now we're gonna boil some water. Now that it's boiling, we put this into the boiling for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes, now we drain the water. Now it says to add the 2 times spicy hot sauce. Then you add, last step is the pepper flakes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I think if you like spicy stuff, this is gonna be awesome for you. I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle it, so I'm gonna take one bite. Let's see. Delicious. but very, very spicy.
Sometimes schools have the dumbest rules. For example, this guy shared a story about his middle school. His teacher had a very weird rule about asking to use the bathroom. Students were not allowed to ask if they could use the bathroom. They had to call it the Thunderbox. Excuse me, miss? Yes, Barnabas. Can I use the Thunderbox? Yeah, absolutely. Hurry up, though. But if kids didn't say Thunderbox and they said bathroom instead, well, miss, can I use the bathroom? What did you say to me? Can I use the bathroom? That's strike one. 2 more, and it's a detention. Bro, Thunderbox. Can I use the Thunderbox? Yes, go. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. This person said that her daughter had just gotten braces, and because of that, she has painfully chapped and cracked lips. Well, one day her daughter came home with a note from the teacher. What is this? It's a note from Miss Johnson. What in the world? The note said that her daughter had broken the no applying makeup in class rule, and if she did it again, she would get a detention. But the thing is, she wasn't applying makeup. She was putting on chapstick. So the mom told the teacher this, but the teacher didn't care. She forced the mom to get her daughter a doctor's note so she can use chapstick in class. School rules can sometimes be whack. For example, in this person's 2nd grade classroom, there was a 3 strikes rule. After the 3rd strike, everyone would have to call you Poopy Poo McPoohead. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Steven, that is strike 3, okay? For the remainder of the class, you are now Poopy Poo McPoohead, okay? Stacy, what's his name? Poopy Poo McPoohead. Very good, back to work. And if another student would forget to call that person Poopy Poo McPoohead, they would get a strike. Hey, Steven. Billy, what are we calling him today? Poopy Poo McPoohead. That's right, that is 1 strike for you now. That's crazy. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in 8th grade, his school had something called the flex period, where every student had an hour to do whatever they wanted. Play games in the gym, do homework, just sit there. Well, this dude had an idea. He started bringing his PS4, his games, and 2 controllers to school every day. He then found a spare empty room with a TV in it, and he realized if you lift up the ceiling tile, there was an outlet up there. So he hooked up his PS4. Well, all the kids wanted to play, so he started taking reservations. If students wanted to play his PS4, he charged $10 for 15 minutes, $30 for 30 minutes, and $60 for the whole hour. Business was absolutely booming. He made $640 in 1 month, but he was shut down because somebody found his reservation sheet. They snitched, and his PS4 business was done. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. In elementary school, there was a kid that went on vacation, and on vacation, he had his parents buy him a ton of those souvenir shark teeth. He brought these shark teeth to school one day, and people were very interested, so he decided he was going to start selling them to kids on the playground. Business was absolutely booming. He did this for a good long while, and some kids were giving him a lot of money. They probably stole it from their parents' wallet or something. In total, he made $650, but one day a teacher saw him doing this, searched his backpack, and saw all the shark teeth. He got in trouble for bringing weapons to school, and he was suspended for a week. When this kid was in 3rd grade, his school had fake money that they would give out to students who behaved well. Every morning, right before school started, there would be this convenience store type thing set up for students who had this fake money to buy stuff like school supplies, candy, snacks. Well, anyway, during spring break, this kid and his family went to the beach, and every day, this kid would walk the beach and grab every single seashell he could find. He put them all in a bag and took them home with him when spring break was over. He took these seashells to school and told all of his classmates that these shells were from a fantasy island and that they were magical. Kids actually believed him. Everyone started asking him for the seashells. He said, "You can have some seashells, but you have to give me all of your fake money." And kids did it. So every morning he was buying stuff from the convenience store, and the teacher was getting a bit suspicious. "Hey man, how are you always able to buy so much stuff? You must have amazing grades. Anyway, here's your candy bar." "Yeah, that's it. I have amazing grades. Thank you, mister." He eventually got caught and got one to black markets kids ran in their schools. This dude would buy a bunch of pre-workout, and he would go early to the sporting events at his school, and he would hang around the locker room where the athletes were, and he would offer to sell the students on the sports team a scoop of pre-workout so they can get amped up right before their game. And to his surprise, people were buying his pre-workout left and right. He was going to every game and making tons and tons of money. And I'm pretty sure he's still doing this. It's a very good idea.
Dad, I got a B on my test. Oh, Dad, why do you sound so excited? Because I got a B, that's good. Have a seat, son. This is how things are going to go in this house. If you get an A, that's average. A B, which you got today, is below average. You following? If you get a C, you can't have dinner. If you get a D, don't you dare bother coming home. And if you get an F, you find a new family. Understand? Yeah. So how do you feel about that B now? Terrible. I'll do better next time, sir. Dang Skippy. Go do your homework. Honey, when's the pasta ready?
That was hilarious, right? My mom told me that joke last night. I was cracking up. Anyway, man, can I use your bathroom? Oh, for sure, man. It's the first door on the right. Hurry up in there, man. Now I gotta go.
All right, class, open your books up to page 76, okay? Your mom. Dude, your mom died over the summer. Oh. Leave my mother out of this, Kyle, okay? I don't make fun of your parents for creating a dumbass. Open your books.
Yeah, screw you, Kyle. You're such an idiot. You smell like my dad.
Oh my gosh, I'm starving. I need to pull over here soon. Oh, lobster tails, $5. That's perfect. Welcome. Yeah, I'm here for the $5 lobster tails. Okay, $5, please. Yeah. Okay, have a seat. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a lobster. And he was a nice lobster. He had tons of friends. But on this particular day, he went out to adventure. And you won't believe what happened. This girl's parents are super strict. This girl said that her friend had incredibly strict parents. Like, they pretty much didn't allow her to do anything. Well, surprisingly, their junior year of high school, her parents let her go to the prom. Under one condition, she wasn't allowed to dance. Well, she figured, alright, they're not gonna be there. I'm gonna dance anyway, they'll never know. So there they all are, dancing at the prom, having a good time. That's when she saw her parents there, standing in the corner of the school gym. Her parents then went up to her and forced her to leave the prom. They were incredibly angry. She was grounded for the rest of the school year, and over the summer they moved to a new town, and no one from that school ever saw her ever again. His dad was the absolute worst. His dad would burn all of his things as punishment. If he did something that upset his dad wouldn't just burn his toys, he would burn clothes, personal items, anything he wanted to on that specific day. Every year they would go to Meijer and buy new clothes and shoes for the school year, and his dad got mad so often he would end up burning that stuff too, which he didn't understand because now he had to buy him more clothes for school. One year, his dad took him to see the Globetrotters, and they actually had a great night. His dad bought him a basketball and a jersey. Well, the very next day, this kid accidentally left something on the floor of his bedroom. His dad got super mad, and he burned that basketball and jersey he bought for him the night before. That's horrible. Anyway, he said the second that he turned 18, he left that house and never looked back. And he hasn't seen his dad since. This guy and his buddy were called to do a plumbing job at an old lady's house. She called them because she was hearing some weird noises coming from some pipes in her attic. Oh my god, thank you so much for showing up. I keep hearing noises up there. I have no idea what it is. Oh, don't even worry. Yeah, no, we'll head up there right now and see what's going on. Yeah, don't worry. We got this. And there was nothing wrong. Just old pipes. Yeah, man, looks like everything's fine up here, dude. Probably just some old pipes. Right here. Watch this. What did you do? He then walked right downstairs and told this old lady, yeah, ma'am, it's a pretty messed up situation up there. One of the pipes was on the verge of bursting and it just burst. It's gonna be a pretty big job, maybe around $5,000 to fix. Oh, well, I guess I can ask my son for some money. I think I'll be able to pay for it. When can you fix it? Today. I can fix it today. He couldn't believe that his buddy did that. He felt a lot of guilt for not telling that lady the truth. And when he eventually did turn his friend into the company they worked for, too much time had passed. She already paid, the pipe was fixed, and there was no way to prove what he did. Here's a genius study hack to pass your exams. This one is strange, but if you stick with it, I think this could be a genius way. You can Pavlov yourself. What you do is you choose an object, like some glasses, a hat, a tie, a scarf, anything. Then you only wear or use that object when you're studying. Now, if you stop studying to look at your phone, grab a snack, or go to the bathroom, take off that object. When you return to studying, put that object back on. Make sure that the only thing that object represents is studying. People who have tried this said it takes about a month, but eventually they started to associate that item with studying. So whenever they put it on, studying became 10 times easier. I don't know. It's worth a shot. Genius ways kids cheated on a test. This teacher shared this story. On this particular day, they were taking a test in one of this teacher's classes. A kid comes in. He sits by the window. The kid then asks the teacher if he could open the window because it's kind of warm in the room. The teacher says sure. The kid opens the window. She passes out the test. That kid scribbles something down for about 30 minutes and then asks to use the bathroom. The kid then came back, finished the test, and turned it in. So what happened here? Where's the twist? When the kid opened the window, he also opened the screen. After he got his test, he secretly dropped it out of the window. The test fell to the ground where his friend was waiting. His friend was incredibly smart. His friend took the test to the bathroom and filled it out himself. Now the kid back in the room had to make it look like he was working on his test, so he was scribbling nonsense on a piece of notebook paper. When he asked to go to the bathroom, he met up with his friend. His friend gave him the test, he came back to class, and he turned it in. He got an A on that test. The teacher would have had no idea that this happened if it hadn't been for another student who snitched. But I gotta say, that's absolutely genius. My favorite comebacks. Hey Carla, what do you want, Stacy? I saw you getting your nails done last night at the mall with your mom. That's so embarrassing, Carla. At least I have a mom. You take that back right now. How dare you say that to me? Oh, shut up, Stacy. You're so ugly your face makes onions cry. That's the worst joke I ever heard. It's not a joke. Look what you did to Greg's onion. It's okay, buddy. She'll go away soon. I'm so sorry. She's so ugly. This kid is crazy. The person that shared this said that there was a kid at their high school who got in trouble for using a keylogger to steal teachers' gradebook logins to change grades. He was also stealing credit card information from all the teachers as well. Well, the school administration eventually found out and he was expelled. What did he do then? He used a throwaway email address to email a revenge PowerPoint to every single student, teacher, and alumni of that school. The PowerPoint had Photoshop pictures of all the teachers and staff doing weird stuff. Well, one of the kids from that school ran into this guy a few years ago, and he actually graduated from Harvard and is a very successful real estate agent. That's crazy. At this one high school football game, there was a student who decided to do something crazy that day. The person that shared this story said it was a Friday night and they were at the school football game, when all of a sudden, a student decided to put on a banana costume and run across the field during the game. Well, the school wanted to expel him, and once the students heard about this, things got crazy. A hashtag was started. Hashtag Free Banana Man. Kids were making custom t-shirts, chanting Free Banana Man at lunch. It was a whole thing. Well, the principal didn't like any of this happening, so he placed a school-wide ban on anything related to Banana Man. This included the t-shirts, the chants, bananas themselves, and even the color yellow. Eventually, the parents stepped in. Banana Man was allowed to come back to school, and the principal, whether this be a coincidence or not, resigned the following year. This kid ran a super weird business at school. My follower sent me the story about someone who went to his high school. Well, I guess one day he came to a realization that almost everyone is ticklish. Well, during lunch at the school, there was a classroom that no one used. It was the science room. There were no windows in this classroom either. Well, one day he told a bunch of people to come to the science room during lunch, and a bunch of people did. When they got to the science room, they saw this kid, and a giant sign that said, anyone that can be tickled for 2 minutes without squirming or laughing wins food. And in that room was a giant table with a bunch of food and snacks on it, and he charged a $10 entry fee if anyone wanted to do the challenge. Well, surprisingly enough, almost everyone accepted this challenge. People were paying this guy to tickle them, and if they could handle being tickled for 2 minutes, they would win a bunch of food from the food table. This went on for 6 months, and in total he made over $5,000. Well, one day, someone couldn't pass the challenge. They got mad and told the principal, and the principal shut him down. That's crazy. Genius ways people cheated on a test. This dude said that when he was in high school, one of his buddies stole the final exam out of the teacher's desk when she wasn't looking. That day, they took the test home and used the textbook to fill all of the answers in. Since the test was multiple choice, this kid decided to make coded keychains with colored beads on it. The test was 50 questions long, so the keychain had 50 beads on it. A red bead was A, a blue bead was B, yellow was C, and green was D. It would start with the first bead on the top as question 1 and go down from there. He then attached that keychain to his car keys and just left his keys on top of his desk as he took the test. The best part was the teacher complimented that keychain as she was passing the test out. He said, "Thanks, my little sister made it." She thought that was so sweet. But the truth is that kid did not have a little sister. Genius. This is a crazy McDonald's story. Dwayne Waden was a pastor in North Carolina, and his wife worked at McDonald's. She was training to be a manager. Well, Dwayne received a phone call from his wife one day. She basically called her husband to complain that the employees were disrespecting her as she was training to be a manager. Well, Dwayne wouldn't have this. So the North Carolina pastor got in his car and drove to the McDonald's where his wife worked. He barged inside. His wife pointed to the employee that was disrespecting her, and he charged him. Dwayne punched him in the face, grabbed his head, and tried to shove his head into the deep fryer. The other employees stopped Dwayne from doing this, and they called the police. Dwayne was then arrested and that poor guy was taken to the hospital. I guess it's safe to say that a pastor became a friar that day. Crazy ways parents punish their kids. This guy said that when he was a kid, his mom had this crazy punishment for whenever he taught back to them or used inappropriate language. Hey, I said no Minecraft till you're done with your homework. Homework is dumb, Mom. This is bull. Whenever something like that happened, she would force him to smell the dog's breath. Get your dog? Mom, no. I said get your dog. Rufus, come here, buddy. Come here, Rufus. I'm just gonna hold your mouth open for a second, okay? Smell it. Smell it. What did you eat today, man? A news team was interviewing this man live on the air when somebody that he owed money to showed up.
First and foremost, we are used to stay outside, like this one. It end up.
I guarantee he paid him his money after that. The bathroom is right there. Will you come in with me, Dad? Elliot, you're 13 years old. You can go to the bathroom by yourself, okay? Why are you always here? So I bought a couch from 25home.com and it came in these 2 giant boxes, so I was worried, but the first one came out super easy, all together. There's the pillow, that's the second piece, that's how it was in the box. It just came out just like that. And I put some old pillows on there to see if it would match, and it kind of does, but the couch itself is beautiful. Look at it, it's huge. Literally, the hardest part about this entire process was throwing away the cardboard boxes. Seriously. But anyway, this couch is amazing. I was so happy. It's so comfortable. This story is crazy. The guy that shared this story said that he had a coworker. And one day at work, this coworker came in with some exciting news. I have some very exciting news. I got married. Oh, what? Bro, we didn't even know you were seeing anybody, but congrats. They were all confused because this guy was kind of strange and he wasn't very smart. But he showed them a picture of him and his new bride. Yeah, I got a picture right here. This is us on our wedding day. His coworkers were immediately suspicious. They thought he had made the entire thing up and photoshopped her in that picture. Well, not exactly. Turns out this dude met her online on some Russian bride website, and she immediately wanted to get married, so she moved to the United States and lived with him. But before long, she came up with some crazy story, had him arrested and committed to a psych ward. She cleaned out his bank accounts, sold everything he owned, and then disappeared forever. Eventually, this dude's mother and his boss worked together to get him released from the psych ward. And he came back to work, and they all pitched in money to buy him at least a few pieces of furniture. Delivery drivers' worst experiences. One night, this dude was delivering KFC to a house. He gets there and he knocks on the door. A middle school aged kid then opens the door. He then yells upstairs to his friends. Hey guys, the chicken idiot is here! The chicken idiot is here! That's when about 8 other kids appear at the top of the stairs, and they started throwing coins down to pay for the chicken. Chicken idiot. Can you guys just hand me the money, please? After he asked that, they started throwing the coins harder. chicken, man. Stupid chicken, man. That's when he snapped. These kids made him so angry that he picked up their bag of chicken and chucked it at their wall. Hey, what the heck? And he left. He told his boss what happened when he got back to the KFC. Those kids' parents later called to complain, but the boss had this guy's back. He simply told those kids' parents to screw off. Epic.
আপনি যে কি করে আপনার মাথায় কোনো কমন সেন্স নেই আমার বাসায় যদি সবাই দেখে ফেলে
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয় মামা মালটা তো জোস সরি 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 ভাবি তুই পারবি তুই দেখ কিভাবে কই সেটিং মিটিং নাই তো সেটিং মানে বুঝো না পেন্টেরিতে ও তো আমাদের ভাবি হয় ওই হিসাবে আমাদের বিয়ে হিসাব আপনি
আচ্ছা দাঁড়া ওয়েট কর আমাকে একটু ভাবতে দে দেখি কি করা যায় দোস্ত তুই থাক আমি যাই আমি থাকবো মানে তুই থাক দোস্ত
রক্ত লাগবে রে রক্ত আসবো না মানে হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম আসবো না ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা যাও
কি রে তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল গলবে পাখির মন গলবে এমন মন্ত্র দেব
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
হ্যালো
হেই হোয়াটস আপ প্র্যাঙ্ক ম্যান
কে
একটু হলেই তো তোমার ফোন হাওয়া হয়ে যেত
তুই তোর ফোন আর কোনোদিন পাবি না
কেন
তোর বাবা তো তোর ফোনটাকে একদম আসার দিয়ে ভেঙে শেষ এমনকি পানিতে চুবাইছে
আউট অফ কিউরিয়াসিটি হয়তো দেখা করব বাট আই এম নট দ্যাট মাচ ইজি অলওয়েজ রিমেম্বার
আজকে যদি তারা না থাকতো আজকে তো দিতাম একদম এই খালি স্কার্টেন গার্ডেন
এই যে আপু এসব গার্ডেন ফার্ডেন যায় না আমার ভাই ব্রাদাররা আছে আপনার একদম কামড়ায় দিবে না 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 ব্রো এই যে আপনার ফোন প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল ব্রো চিল 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 রাকিব ভাই আপনি এসআই রাকিব ভাই না আপনার কথা আমি অনেক শুনছি আপনি কিন্তু মানে বুঝের লোক টেজে তোলেন
এই হোসেন আলী ক্যামেরা আগেই কইছিলাম আমার বস ফেমাস হ্যাঁ 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 ভাই একটু যেতে ধরতে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শিওর
তো কিভাবে যে কনফার্ম হই
এটা তো এদিকে না 3 নাম্বার গেট ওইদিকে শঙ্কর গলি বোধহয় গেটের বাইরে আপনি ভুল আসছেন জান
ভুল আসছে কিন্তু আমি কি চিনতে পারবো
ও আচ্ছা আপনি দ্যাট বোরখা গার্ল
চিনতে পেরেছো তাহলে না
আই লাইক গুড গার্লস ফলো কর যা ইফতে কই যায় দেখবি যা তাহলে জীবনে প্রথম কাউরে প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে যায় নিজেই আজকে প্র্যাঙ্ক হয়ে গেল
মুনিয়া তুমি আমাকে বলেছো যে তুমি তোমার কোনো বয়ফ্রেন্ড নাই
না না বয়ফ্রেন্ড না আমি ওর বয়ফ্রেন্ড আমি ওর ফিয়ান্সে ওর সাথে আমার বিয়ে নেই
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
আমার জন্য
এটা তোমার জন্য একটা নতুন ফোন দিলাম
এই জন্য তাহলে তোমরা এতক্ষণ নাটক করছো
নাটক না তোমার ফোনটা পুরনো হয়ে গেছে
কেন
নতুন ফোন
আমরা প্র্যাঙ্ক করতে পারি না
একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কথা ছিল তোমার সাথে এমন করলে কেমন হয় যদি এই এন্টারটেইনমেন্ট জার্নিতে আমি জয়েন করি তোমার সাথে
আরে বেন সাহেব, নতুন নতুন সম্বন্ধ তো তাই চিনতে পারেন নাই। ওই যে আপনার বান্ধবী তুলি আছে না?
আপনি যে কি করে, আপনার মাথায় কোনো কমন সেন্স নেই? আমার বাসায় যদি সবাই দেখে ফেলে।
রাত 10টায় আমি ফোন দিব, আর একবারের বেশি যদি রিং হয়। মামা, মালটা তো জোস। সরি 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 ভাবি, তুই পারবি, দেখ কিভাবে কই। সেটিং মেটিং নাই তো? সেটিং মানে বুঝো না, পেন পেরিতি।
সবে ইন্টার সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে আমার ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেনও প্রেম করে। মামা, মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু। শুনেন বেন সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু জিসান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনুন। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি, তাহলে কিন্তু খুব খারাপ লাগে। তুই রবিলের সুন্দর একটা রিক্সা ডাক। ভাবি চিনিতে আমার বন্ধু জিসান দিচ্ছে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন, প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি, কালকে সারা রাত তোমার আমি কল দিচ্ছি।
সারা রাত? তাহলে আপনি শুনুন আপনার ভালোবাসার মানুষের অতীত বর্তমান। পাগল কোন একদম ঠিক হয় না, ওনার ব্যথা লাগে নাই?
ব্যথা তো বেশি তুই
তুহিনের ব্যথা লাগছে না?
বন্ধু, তুই চিন্তা করিস না রে, ভাবির মন ঠিকই গলে যাবে। ভাবির মন তো গলবে, কিন্তু